Kesh Foundation, an independent, non-profit, non-religious, space-based organization founded by nuclear engineer Mehran Tavakoli Kesh, is introducing to humanity the science of the universe, plasma science. Kesh Foundation develops universal knowledge and space technologies that provide solutions to major global problems, revolutionizing agriculture, health, energy, transportation, materials, and more. The application of plasma science in the form of specially developed plasma reactors and other devices will give humanity the real freedom to travel in deep space. Plasma science exists throughout the whole universe. It is here and it belongs to you. Our knowledge, research, and development regarding the plasma structure has progressed to the point of enabling everyone to participate in the process. Become a creator and understand the work of the universe for the good of humankind on this planet as well as in space. The use of megravs, nanomaterials, GANs, liquid plasma, field plasma, and other plasma technologies have come as a new dawn for humanity to progress and work in harmony with the universe. Conventional technology applications are wasteful, damaging, and cause pollution to the planet and all living beings. Plasma science provides solutions and improves existing methods and use of resources in all aspects that touch the lives of all beings. Plasma is defined by the Foundation as an entire content of fields which accumulate and create matter and is not defined by its physical characteristics like ionization or temperature. Also, with plasma science, we understand how we can convert matter back to the fields. Quoting from Mr. Kesh, MEGRAV stands for magnetic gravitational, which means plasma absorbs or gives. And every plasma has the both. It has give and it has take. And when they can't find the balance, they distance themselves until they find the balance they can give to the others, that they can receive what they want to receive and give further. Certain atoms and molecules release and absorb magnetic or gravitational fields. Released fields are available to be absorbed by other objects. The Kesh Foundation has developed a way to gather these free-flowing fields from the environment within a resourceful and beneficial new state of transitional matter, which M.T. Kesh named GANs. The first step of the process of the formation of various basic types of GANs is nano-coating metals. This is carried out either chemically by etching, steam coating with sodium hydroxide, or thermally by heating, fire coating by gas burner. During either coating process, gaps between outermost layers of atoms are created. The residual coating is often referred to as nano-coating, defined by the structured layers of nanomaterial, which build up during the creation process of the coating. Nano-coated metal in interaction with other various metal plates in a saltwater solution creates MEGRAV fields. These fields then attract available elements to form a specific GANs, which collects and settles at the bottom of the container. This GANs is formed from independent energized molecules like little suns that can be used in various applications.
The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and speciality to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, The class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Keshe Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today.
Welcome everyone to the 167th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's April 13th, 2017, and another Thursday with Mr. Keshe here, and I think he's ready to go. I understand he has today's news and teaching, and possibly we'll have a special appearance with Caroline later, I understand. Okay, let's switch over to Mr. Keshe. He looks like he's, see if I can get this switched. Let me stop the share.
Oh, I'm not muted. Yes.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Mr. Keshe.
Hi, good morning, good day to you as usual. Whenever you listen to these knowledge seekers programs. As usual, we have some small announcements to make, and as we said, we changed the ethos of the Keshe Foundation that we do not discuss anything except what our work and what we are progressively doing, as we found out that others are using us to bounce themselves up on the ladder. So in that way, we create more jobs for them than for us. There are a number of important announcements to be made. First of all, going back, some of you might see it. Today, last week, I was in Middle East, in Emirates, and we will see the outcome of the meetings as we come back. This week, today, we are in the Keshe Foundation Center in Austria. God knows where we're going to be next week. I know where I'm going to be, but we leave that to the gods to guess. We are expected to be in Tokyo in a short time as developments are rapidly building up. And will return back to Accra, the home of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Center. On talks and understanding is that the Keshe Foundation Ghana Atomic Center will be called in the name of His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo as the center to his name that he imported, and he allowed the technology to develop. So very soon, when you come to the Keshe Foundation, it will be named after His Excellency President Addo. In so many ways, he'll be present for the opening, and the rest of the Keshe Foundation team worldwide doing as be it the Universal Council, the Earth Councils, and the core team. We try not to allow or accept anybody from outside for security reasons in the presence of the maybe possibly 2 to 3 presidents in opening the center. On the other hand, everything is on plan. Our friends and colleagues in Accra are doing their best to have everything in line. And there's a discussion when we'll invite dignitaries is on the decision to be made in Accra when I arrived there with the government and developers. There are a number of developments on the other hand. That one is to do with, we received a message from Her Excellency Lisa that she wants to change the course of the teaching in KFSSI. This will be discussed with her, as I was with another member of the Earth Council last week for 5 days with Dr. Parviz. And we have discussed this different developments on what we can do with. Now we sit to be more or less guiding what they want us to do as members of the council. So as we said last week, there will be developments in teaching, and some people will be moved. In a way, we're bringing more people in the background and the voluntary work of translation and transcribing. So we wait to see what Her Excellency's got to say next week to us, what she feels has to be the next approach, because she thinks that the teachings are not done as she is an ex-teacher to be expected. So as what I call a hand-on teacher, she will guide us in what she sees the teaching has to go internationally for the Keshe Foundation. We will discuss this in the next couple of days with her, and then you will hear from her next week. The other important thing is that in light of the developments we've had in the research with the cancer, as we said, we did the first trial with non-toxicity, which shows that the material is totally non-toxic. And then we did a cancer sample test. And as we informed you that the third trial, which is to do with the animal test, started some 2 weeks ago. The results from the test coming from Tokyo is so important and is so radical that we have requested the Tokyo University, the Keshe Foundation, for a direct live presentation. Maybe the first stage will be done by us, and the second stage will be done by the scientists from Tokyo University. The reason for this is that in this third trial, which is usually takes months for any response, the drastic results and the data achieved has to be shared internationally very rapidly. What we've seen is that in the trial case, that they have divided the animals in 5 groups, 1 sample group, 1 to be used for 1 method of processing, and 4 methods have been chosen. The first method, which has been chosen by the scientists at the university, started 2 weeks ago. In that batch, there are 10 animals, 10 mice. We usually expect, after confirmation of the cancer being progressive in the body of the animal, we give them some days for the cancer to grow fully, and then they take the data on the markers and the tumor. When we achieve that point of saturation, they call it, that the cancer reversal process can be started. What we have seen is total reversal in all 10 mice, which means 100%. This is a major breakthrough for the science. But what we have seen additionally is that we saw the first 23 to 30% reduction in the first 2 days. So the cancer automatically reduces. What we have seen further, except 1 mice, which took him, or her, we don't know, till 7th or 8th day to show the response, every other mice more or less shows 100%, no markers, no tumor by the 5th day. This is a radical change. The first 2 animals were sacrificed last week, and in that process we have seen no toxicity whatsoever in any organs. So it shows the process is completely non-toxic. At the same time, what we are seeing, that there is no residual of CO2 in any organs. We've seen very, very small, as the scientists say, negligible amount of CO2 and other gases which has been applied in the first lining of the stomach, which they say that's normal. In 10 days, this usually washes out. And we've seen a small, very small amount of, negligible amount of CO2 in the blood content. This has a lot of implication, we'll explain. From what we've seen and what the report is coming from Tokyo University and the scientists in the Far East, it is the responsibility of the Keshe Foundation to share the knowledge as we've done immediately, transparently. We took a decision in the discussion with the doctors yesterday in the medical teaching. Unanimously, without single one opposing it, the medical team of the Keshe Foundation have decided that we go ahead with sharing the knowledge, which means every man on this planet can help themselves with any cancer. This changes the course of pharmaceuticals. We have to remind you that this test is only done for stomach, intestine, and what we call the last part of the digestion system. The reason we are going in this way is very simple. We are asking if you know, if you're in touch with, if you have scientists who are experts in the ways of cancer, to invite them to come to what we call the Cancer Blueprint Day, which is the 18th of April, next Tuesday. The way we shared on a Blueprint Day, the MAGRAPH system and the energy, on Thursday, the 18th of April, the Keshe Foundation openly will disclose the whole process. If you have the expertise and you think you can use it at home, you're welcome to it. This allows us to bring other research development organizations to share the knowledge. We took this decision of the medical team to the Universal Council yesterday as they were in a session, and we left them to them as this their work to bless the work for the Keshe Foundation and support it through what it goes. So those of you who are or can go on the internet, we will release openly the whole process, the papers, the research, the development. On Thursday, this session will last maybe 5 to 10 hours. We do not know. We take it as it is. Dr. Rodriguez will present a cancer tumor which we kept away, but it was shown in full in Rome conference as a presentation paper. On the conclusion of the discussions and the papers, Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Parviz and I will fly to Tokyo for the full press conference presentation of the technology in the coming days. We wait till the Tokyo University conference our move. This will change a lot of things for the foundation, because this way, not only we deliver scientific paper, we put an end to all the what I call riff-raff talks of the people around, whatever it does. It's important that we follow the process very, very closely. We have to look for a lot of things. We have to look for any condition that our people or the scientists around the world would like to see. For those institutes or organizations or companies, be it pharmaceutical, be it university, be it scientific individual, who would like to have access or try to collaborate fully, we have opened and will open the line is collaboration at cancerprocessing.org. We're looking for collaboration in a large way. We transfer through our channels the full technology to the Chinese government directly, to the Office of His Excellency President Xi on a direct line next week. This is important as we receive a lot of support from Chinese. We will transfer the full knowledge directly into 7 major pharmaceutical organizations around the world. Means we don't wait for them to come and look. We deliver it to them directly on the lines we have, which means they can see the whole presentation and they can start the process. The process is important to be understood, will bring huge, huge changes in chemotherapy, in other type of cancer research development. We don't wait that they find us that what we are doing, we're going to major pharmaceuticals. This is what we discovered. This is your right to copy, because for us to reach every man on this planet is very difficult. But there are hundreds of thousands of pharmacies around the world which they can dispense it. This gives us two opportunities. First of all is that the technology will be transferred, and with it will be carried directly to public. On the other hand, because of the way we share it, the astronomical cost of the development or marketing will literally disappear. We estimate this is the biggest problem we have. We discussed it with a small short meeting with Caroline, the two Carolines are board of members, one my wife and one of Dr. Klaus, as they stand the same right as the rest of the members of the council, is that the cost of total treatment, the whole what we call the processing, is less than €1. It costs less than €1 to save a life now with cancer. And why do we see hundreds of thousands of dollars to save life? So, as we said, we call it the €1 cancer processing. It costs more to ship than it costs to manufacture. What we decided to do, we leave it to the people on their discretion on use to donate to the foundation, than us putting a limit on it. This changes the whole game. It means pharmaceutical will have it, but they can't do much with it because they can't make astronomical prices. On the other hand, it brings it at the reach of everyone. A copy of the teaching will be delivered, and we ask you, please, from whichever country you are, deliver it to your embassies, deliver it to your government. It's your right. The last time we gave the knowledge of the energy and the rest in a USB stick. Now we want a bit more advanced. We do it to mobile use sticks, which is human beings. Carry it, deliver it to every doctor. Deliver it to the health ministries. We have to change the course. We have no choice. And we can play hide and dock. We announced what we call the injection process treatment a few weeks ago. And we stopped with that because now this process is completely non-injection and is direct consuming the material. But it has to be done in a specific way, in a specific pattern. Remember, when it comes to the gas waters, how you drink two waters can change your blood pressure or can change your diabetic. The beauty with this technology is there are horses for courses, as we said many times. You have to decide what, or the physicians have to decide what is good for what. What we see from the research data development, which will be released in the blueprint day, the total amount for 100 kilogram person is about 1 milligram. This is the effectiveness we see. So this changes a lot of things in so many ways. So what we call €1 cancer processing blueprint day will be on Tuesday the 18th. We start at 9 o'clock Central European time as usual. Where we'll be, we don't know. And wherever we are, we will carry on with the teaching and the process of learning. This changes a lot for all of us. Many of you suffer from cancer. Many of you know people who suffer from cancer. We delivered the knowledge as a research paper on the Keshe Foundation, and it's for you to decide the usage or development. The data on the first two research papers, trials, are so perfectly presented by the scientists in Tokyo University that FDA and the standard board have accepted it outright because there is no ambiguity that the research is according to be. The research carries the name of the Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. It's a research we have paid for, and as part of the structure, we invest into this research much more. The beauty of it is, nowhere ever in the world of medicine, except maybe headaches and inflammation, we have seen changes in 3 days. We see the progress of change in 3 days. What we need to know, how far can we expand this? We need to know how do we develop this towards the liver cancer, pancreas cancer, cancer with other part of the body of the man. Or would this material transfer itself to other part of the body to eradicate cancer? The answer is two ways. As I was discussing with the scientists in Tokyo yesterday, if you notice in my talk a few minutes ago, I explained that we see a small amount of CO2 in the bloodstream, totally negligible, absolutely negligible. But this gives us a very good indication that with this process, the GANS material is transferred to the other organs by the blood. So any secondary cancer can be overcome. This is the beauty of it, what we're looking at. So hopefully in 30 days, in 60 days, when a large number of people go through this process, you have to understand one thing. We are releasing the science as a scientific development in the world of healthcare. It is for organizations and individuals to take their own precaution and understanding. We deliver scientific data in what we see, total non-toxicity in the organs, and what we see as the change of the cancer in 5 days with most of the animals. This is another change in the whole direction of the Keshe Foundation disclosures, open disclosures. We share freely, and hopefully by next couple of months, we will see a lot of people will respond. Please, we advise you, with the link which we'll provide for the blueprint, go and send it directly to the pharmaceuticals. Send it to the doctors, send it to the hospitals, and tell them to watch. The course has changed. This is important because with this, we will see other changes, because we know this material in its progress at this rate will change a lot of things. It's the responsibility of the people who use it on themselves. We are delivering the understanding of the science of the technology of the plasma within the structure of the body of the man. We are not telling you do this or that, and you come and sue us. We are telling you, you want to do it yourself, do it at home. Or give it to the pharmaceutical guy, pay them a lot of money and say, I want the result. I'm sure within the next few weeks, as I said, the pharmaceutical organizations will see a change in their value in the stock exchange. That's inevitable. The more data is released by the application, the more we will see the changes. So we have, as we say, we have a rendezvous on Tuesday, the 18th at 9 o'clock Central European time. Depends how long we'll take. We are still doing a lot of talking with our colleagues in Tokyo that would they like to be on camera? Would we not risk their lives? Would the government of Japan will protect their scientists at the highest level? Most probably we'll meet and discuss with the American officials on the same basis, because this is a huge game changer. You have to understand, you don't need to go anywhere. You take your tablet at home, cancer becomes another headache. In 5 days, 10 days, nobody can tell what to do. But to start with, to make a cancer like a headache to take an aspirin, we need to create a lot of data. We need to be able to confirm our work through our collective disclosures. Those who would like to do the work, please do what we did before. If you remember back in the time when we gave the USB stick, the Keshe Foundations literally bombarded their embassy. We won the key. And it forced a lot of ambassadors and governments to change their position because of receiving so much communications from their people. This is one of the reasons we are in the beautiful country of Italy. The Italians literally bombarded the Italian parliament and the member of parliament. We won this thing back. That the officials from the Italian embassy calls us and says, can we have this key, whatever is on it? Can you come to the embassy? We want it. And we saw the consequence of it, where on the election of President Obama, he asked for the key and we delivered it. One thing we have to understand, it's our obligation to use this technology for peace. When you send these to your ambassadors, write on it, this time, cancer in exchange for peace. Last time we did energy in exchange for peace. This time, every officer in every army dreads that cancer. All of us die of it in one way or another. Sometimes in our lives, majority of us call it different name, but maybe 50–80% of human race dies through this process. With this technology, with what is on the table to be disclosed on Tuesday, the 18th of April, is the beauty that we bring the work of cancer and is more or less death sentence to as low as a headache. I think in so many ways, from what I've seen on the data coming in, it works much faster than any painkillers I know. To understand, you have millions of cells in your body which are changed to a cancer cell, and change 23% of millions of these in less than 36 hours, 48 hours, is a miracle. I thank the team and the professors in Tokyo University. You got to understand, we have rogue people around the world. They put so much pressure on the Tokyo University. We know the people that the university decided they're going to protect their scientists. We are dealing with a bunch of criminals, but the good thing is, these criminals won't tell you when they get a cancer they took the tablets from Keshe Foundation. We wish them all the best. We give them the best soul we can, that sooner or later, some of them will take this tablet. All of us get headaches. Most of them get cancer. So, we welcome you to the second Blueprint Day of the Keshe Foundation. This time we call it Cancer in Exchange for Peace. It's very radical because I know a couple of world presidents who are dying of cancer. I wonder which one answers. We offer the technology to His Eminent Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran. Very advanced case of prostate cancer. Extremely. We offered the technology before, and this time I personally delivered it to the Iranian ambassador in Rome. We have to understand it is our job. And it's our responsibility to deliver this technology the correct way. We know 2 South American presidents are suffering from cancer. We know at least 1 European leader in his family has got 2 members with the cancer. We know in reality a number of royal families in Middle East are battling with it. I was there, I know, I hear. So this time we give it to the poor man on the street and the king the like. And let's see where we go. So we have a rendezvous, as we said, for Tuesday, 18th of April at 9 o'clock Central European Time. And please invite all the pharmaceuticals. We'll make a video for it. And we'll see, we show the horrendous condition of the cancer, and we see how we go and where we could develop it. But share it as you can, as fast as you can, that there will be enough people. Inform all the pharmaceutical companies to be present. I know what this is going to do. I have a son in the pharmaceutical business, and I know as a doctor in that field, he'll be without the business, without the job soon. The way I'm cleaning the place, he'll have no job. We go back to the other part of the teaching. What we need to understand, as I said last week, we go into a new era of total space technology. Today, as I said last week, the master will teach, and we understand what I mean. We are the master of the space and not the earth. We understand the knowledge of the universe better than we do the earth. Physicality is so difficult. As part of your understanding, It is important that we share the knowledge in the way that you can understand. What does this mean? This means very simple. For me, to explain it has been a headache for past week. How can I explain visually that people can understand it? Because visualization is part of the system which makes it easy to understand. But this brings a lot of doubt on the human race. Not the doubts, but in a way to understand a bigger picture. We go back to our teachings, where we started. If you remember, we said as gravitational magnetic field of the sun interacts with the magnetic field of the earth, what we get? We get life. If you remember, this gave us what we all know. This gave us but you have to remember one point. And that point is, this solar system is an egg inside another egg. What has never been considered by the world of science is that the same thing happens in the world of creation. That the plasma of the universe and galaxies interact and create a different amino acid in the world of man's universe. So if you understand this, it's very simple. Our amino acid has universal link. Anywhere on this solar system, you guarantee life through the interaction of the plasma of the universal fields through the galaxy. So now, those are people who want to go into space have to consider an attachment. Universal amino acid. But this again still goes back to one fundamental point. The field released and absorbed by the interaction of field of the environment to our solar system itself is part of another system, which is the galaxy in respect to universe. So, in fact, if you look from the human race point of view, we have a big dilemma. We are getting mixed up, and we are developing another amino acid, which is the universal amino acid, which from the galaxy point of view to universal, we have to consider what we call the three field forces. Without this, the fallacy of what you call large percentage of DNA, which is what we call is garbage, changes condition. This is exactly what we talked about the brain of the man. Up to recently that we start explaining the process of the brain of the man, every single cell is used full time, all the time. There was a fallacy that the man uses only 5% of his brain. The man uses every single cell of the brain, otherwise it would not be there. But it doesn't carry garbage in the brain. If you understand this, now you will understand one fundamental point. Any race in the universe, our universe has and carries that amino acid. The universal amino acid is the backbone of interaction of the man in the universe. It sits in a strength much higher than the Earth, the plasma of the solar system, the galaxy, and the universal level. And this common denominator universal strength field is how, where man will interact in our universe. It's in our DNA. It's not somewhere we have to look for it. It mainly sits in our RNA because it has no physicality, tangibility. It sits within the coil of the magnetic field of the entities of every single cell of the man. What this means, very simple. As man goes to space and travels from the solar system out, he will carry everything to be part of the universal community. We have everything we need, because always remember, the starts from the higher strength to a lower. That's where we came from. And as you come lower, you carry all the information of the higher state of strength of the plasma. What does this mean? If man goes within the limits of his own soul in understanding the totality, according to the strength he summons from his cell, from the plasma of his structure, he decides where in the universe he will land. Because he'll go back up the ladder where he came from. The structure of the gans of the plasma of the universe is within the structure of the gans of the body of the man. But its tangibility is dependent on the strength of the field. So what we explain today is a new opening to the knowledge of the mankind. What you thought they were aliens are made of what you call yourself alien to them. But in fact, to be a member of this universal council, we need to have all one common denominator. So in time when the man matures, not only he will understand that he can change his position anywhere in the universe, but he can change his manifestation of physicality according to his wish, according to the understanding of the strength of his plasma. When the man matures, and this teaching goes beyond understanding of the man, is for those who are listening in the background. If you understand, the further step is carrying the unicos amino acid. With that, once man understands, still exists in his amino acid, in his structure of the body, man can move from universes to universes. There is no need for burning, there is no need for matching. There is no need for finding position. You have to go through the soul. And then you travel across universes. There is no difference. Once you learn by devotion and transparency of the soul, one moves further in strength. Understand what it means by transparency. When you give so much that there is no much to give, as you understood the work of the, I go in this corner, if you go in the work of the plasma, as you release the higher level, you come to achieve higher strength. This is what none of you have ever understood. Maybe today you understand. I always say, the more you give, the more you receive. It's very simple. You should have seen this from the first time I drew this picture. Look what happens. This is you, and this is the plasma of the universe. The more you give, the more you get rid of the lower strength. What do you achieve? Higher strength plasma. This gives you a position to move in the higher order in level of the creation. The more you give, the more you expose the magnetical, the more stronger you're becoming gravitational. And we know as you go to the center of the what you call black hole, you receive the massive, much, the strongest gravitational field that absorbs everything. So in so many ways, I can stop teaching today, because it'll take mankind thousands of years to even understand what is on this board, let alone to apply it and understand the totality of it. This is the teaching of the universe. It's for you to understand, to go to the point of sincerity to give, and not worried about what I'm going to get, because by giving you already have exposed the higher gravity to absorb more, to be able to give more. And when a man reaches that point, he will travel the space of universe in no time. As I say many times, there are no time zones in the time of the soul. So you have no time zone. You travel the space of the universe and manifest yourself according to the soul of the man's strength. This is the beauty of the new knowledge. A lot of people don't understand. And if you see, you learn, we teach what we promote. We live what we teach. For us to hold back the teaching, showing of the cancer research to save many people from the agony of cancer would have been a very lucrative multi-trillion business. We would have become the biggest pharmaceutical company in the world. But we give it freely. Because I know in doing so, we receive more than we can give more. We get more strength. Those who save their lives with a few tablets will become the founders of the peace. They find peace in themselves. Because they've been on the verge of the death, they had to think about it. They have become, they understand. In a way, we haven't given anything free when it comes to the work of the cancer. We are giving free for man to become more peaceful, that we achieve our target. Knowledge for peace. Knowledge of understanding how the universe works is very simple. You will see the change of the course because you give more. Never worry about what I'm going to get or what I'm going to receive when I get, because the time you value and count is the time you lost. Understand what's on the board. It's very, very simple. But I hope it will take man less than at least 1,000 years to understand it. Otherwise, you'll be very slow animals. You got to understand it by working on it, by devotion and by giving it freely. There is no time in the time of soul. You can be anywhere, anytime. Now you understand the structure. This knowledge has never been taught to man, and I think it's the time to do. As I said, I'm the master. I know exactly where everything sits. It's for you to understand how to apply it. How do you elevate your soul? Many people ask this question of themselves. How can I elevate my soul? How can I reach to the point that I can go at least from the earth into solar system level? At least I can join the soul, what they call the galaxial level. Or I can join another place. It's very simple. Caroline was telling me something very strange, and I said, my God, she hasn't understood. And she emphasizes on it. Why do the souls stay over wherever they are? I said to her, they have to have a place. If they're not here, they go somewhere else. But you have to understand the soul of the man is made of the material of the earth. So it has a connection link. It's you who have to change the condition that in reality, this is what you got to change. If you understand how to play with this character in the real essence of the creation, not as amino acid, as I explained to you very simply before, change the nitrogen through your wish and the strength of the soul to anything you like. Potassium. Use the difference between the two elements in any shape or form to create the condition of the strength of the life in anywhere in the universe. You'll be there instantaneously. The knowledge of the universe is understanding the operation of the soul. The operation of the soul is detachment from the physicality. When you look at the MRI pictures, in many times, what do you see? You see the shape of the brain. And what you see in it is a very tiny hole in the center. There are no anchors to it, and it has no connection with the rest of the brain. And that's the position of the soul. It's detached from physicality, but it gives enough that at a given point, it converts its energy to physicality, which by change of emotion and control of the physicality, gives the hand, the arm, or the leg of the man. You have to find out the position of your soul, and the worst thing it gets is when you found it, find the strength of it. Thou shalt not steal. You cannot steal from another soul, another condition to elevate yourself. The only way you do elevate your soul is at the point of death, where the energy fields of the totality of every single soul will go back into the brain of the man. If you look, this is your brain, and I've said many times in the teaching, this is your physicality part. This part of the change on the point of death of the man, or as we said, every cell has emotion, and every cell has a soul. On the point of departure or the change of the life, all these souls will gather to make the totality of the brain into a plasma. But this plasma was made from the strength of the zinc and everything else to do with this planet. So for it to be home, needs to be where you came created from. This is the beauty of the creation. It's you who got to understand from now on, you don't need to do anything, but understand how you can change the behavior of the pattern of these, which is the cornerstone of the life of the man. And in that process, you have to remember the amino acid which made your life itself was made through the interaction of the total field of all the levels of the creation. Then you'll find out it takes no time for man to understand the Creator and the work of creation. It's taken several billions of years to man's time to understand this knowledge on board, and it's given to you freely. But I know 99.9% of the people who listen will take them a long time to comprehend, to be able to achieve it. Caroline keeps on telling me, we are not stupid, stop telling us you don't understand. You will understand, but in a long, long time. The reality is, if you could understand the interaction of the phases, that what has led to creation of the amino acid of the man, you come to one conclusion. I am the beginning, I am the end. In so many ways, you become the beginning and you become the end. And in so many ways, being the beginning is not the end, and being the end is not the beginning. The totality of the energy which you receive to create you at this point, in combination, will lead you to cross the borders of the universe. Now, let's see how powerful man is to give, and see how much he fears his own demise, and he stops giving. The point you stop giving, you'll be manifested in that point, because that's where you want to be. So, it'll be a long, long time, very long time, before man becomes so pure in the soul that will not allow the transparency of the soul become the fear of his own existence. The more transparent you become, the more power you have to give, that you receive more, that you can go further in the line of the creation. Man has spent millions of years, haven't managed to move from the farmhouse of the earth. Now, if you understand, many will start the journey. There is no need for reactors, there is no need for anything else, there is no need for a spaceship, because the spaceship of the man is the soul of the man. I hope you understood. Any questions?
Good morning, Mr. Kesh.
Good morning, Azar.
Mr. Kesh,
can you wait a little bit? We are a bit deaf here. We're going to turn the thing up that we can hear your beautiful voice. Speak now.
When you talk about nitrogen, can you elaborate about that? That you said something
about
nitrogen.
Try oxygen, try any of them.
So you said something that if you do it, you can instantaneously move from one place to another. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, you give more, you'll see it. You don't need to elaborate. It comes by examination and testing. I cannot write you a recipe to become a man from planet Zeus if you don't have the emotion of giving the same as the planet Zeus. The manifestation of physicality comes from the point of what I call giving. The more you give, not going to the church and putting all the money in the bank of the church and then going borrowing from it because I gave so much I don't have myself to live. This is what the Africans do. Is giving through the soul that you can elevate the others. We were looking in the skies with Dr. Klaus a few days ago, and I said, this is a twin stars. And the twin stars, it means what one gives, the other one takes. Without the other one, there is no. But the strange thing is, in some cases in the universe, you have triple stars. 3 stars share equal. The distance is the same, the position is the same. So it's the same with the soul of the man. Any other question?
Mr. Cash?
Yes,
that's the second question. When we
I
die,
think I'm going to start charging you for your questions, Dr. Azhar.
That's okay, Mr. Cash.
No
if I can
problem.
afford it, no problem.
Yeah, we'll take from the soul. It's free charge. It's a direct transfer.
Mr. Cash, when we die, does our soul also the same? Like, for example, if I can manage to use my soul, go to universal community, is one way of doing it.
You got to do it. You got to do it before you die. It's no use when the letter is posted.
So if we die, we don't join the universal community. It's different.
Yes, you're still part of it. Dying is the matter of change of states of physicality. When you die, it doesn't mean zump is gone. When my great uncle died, my cousin said something very interesting. He says he's changed his permanent address, but he still got the address. We call it the graveyard. The good thing is, where you're going to post the body and where you're going to post the soul. In many times, man will come to see, to understand. Comes to the point of maturity of the man. Is you come to the point that you post the letter before it gets posted, and people shall not see your physicality. This is the big difference of understanding. If you post a letter, you know where you posted it, but it's posted for you, you're in a package, wherever it lands, it's going to be its home. When you die, you have taken that decision away from your soul. Soul has the freedom, but connection to the earth, because it came from it. It came from its structure. So, if you want to travel in another position with your soul, post a letter yourself. And by posting a letter, you have to understand what has to be done. The clarity of the soul, non-dimensional condition of life. Caroline wants a soul polisher. She says, how do you polish the soul? Very easy. Thou shalt not steal. Read all the 12 commandments. All of them tells you one thing. Thou shalt not steal. Nothing else. Look at all the attributes of the name of Creator in Quran. Is all thou shalt not steal. God is a giver. He's kind. He's this. He's generous. And many times they tell me, don't tell that. God is a man. He's a beautiful man. But we allow it to appear as a woman too, because it's much nicer to blame somebody else for the mistakes. To be able to polish your soul, you have to understand the true meaning of your own existence. The strange thing is, when you lie one word, you go back 1,000 steps. You go back, it's not worth even considering it. Hurting your soul sets you back thousands of years. So now start polishing. Now start understanding. I explained this to somebody very, very recently. What is one of the 12 commandments? Thou shalt not be adulterous. Adulterous is not missing, it's not a physical interaction of intercourse. Is very much what happens. If you're committed to another soul, when you give, you don't give what belongs to that soul to somewhere else. Now you have to go and gain from it, so you lose twice. When you lie, when you cheat, you take away from what it belongs to somebody, so you already have gone back. And the people will understand this is the beauty. I explained many times, even in our organization, I try to make so much comfortable, so much transparent, that in the workplace, in the way you do things, that people don't need to lie, because it's your job to make sure. In Keshe Foundation, I'm very transparent. I tell everybody everything, but they've been so much lied to that when they hear the truth, they can't accept it. So they have to make their own lies. So they go lower and they find out they can't achieve what they wanted to achieve because they already lied to themselves. The biggest thief of a man is the man himself taking from his soul. And one day man will understand. When you lie, when you, it's a stealing. When you cheat, it's a stealing. So when you stole, I always say to my children, I always say to the people, would you like pay 3 times more for the same thing? It's the same with the state of soul. I was in the airport a few years ago in Frankfurt, and this has happened to me many times. I gave money to the girl at the counter. She was so excited that she was talking to a Persian guy because she was Persian. She never noticed I gave her 20 euro. She said, you gave me 50 euro. She gave me 30 euro plus my change. I said, madam, that's not mine. She said, no, you gave me 50. I said, you were too excited speaking to a Persian guy, very handsome like me when I was younger. So you got confused, but I gave you 20. She said, no. I said, you know something? I've got 2 hours flight. I'm sitting there. I sit right in that chair. You count your till. If it's correct, I take my 30. If it's not correct, at least I go with a clear mind. She counted. She came back. You were right. Thank you very much. It would have been 1 day work they would have taken from me because that's how much I earn in a day. Doesn't make any difference. But I go with the freedom of thought because somebody says, oh, I got 30 euro. It's gone. It's done. But now I have to go and earn 90 euro to pay for the work she's done and her soul. So I lost 3 times more. Why should I? Once I give the money back, once I have to work for it twice, third time is I lose the time I was supposed to earn something else to pay for the penalty I carry. Why should I? I don't work that way. This has created a lot of problem in the Keshe Foundation. I tell people, this is where we are. This is what we take. It has to be, and where we sit. It's no good if the man doesn't understand the process. I have a problem, I talk. I have a problem, I explain. Because when I see a problem, when I explain it, it's not my problem anymore. So my soul can carry on with other works. Many people choose the path of finding an excuse to cheat, finding an excuse to betray, finding an excuse to steal. But at the end of the day, they don't understand, betray their own souls, their own life, and the rest of it. A fool pays 3 times more for the same product that he can get it with one payment. And once you understand that, you'll find your soul elevates very fast. I had the most beautiful time in past 5 days in Persian Gulf with Dr. Parviz. It was just 2 of us. And it brought me time. It's the first time I had time for it, months and years to be alone. And Dr. Parviz is very much on the strength of the soul, very much I understand. And it's beautiful to be with him. When I came back the next day, I felt the condition which I used to feel when I accepted this mission. Freedom, detachment from the attachment of physicality. And you can fly. You fly, I could see the soul of the universe. I could go back home. And you see you don't need attachments. I spend more and more time with the Earth Council and Universal Council, because in so many ways what I give to them is what I get back from what they don't know they received, that it allows me to promote the soul of the councils. It's very strange. If you post your own soul, your physicality, you decide at the point of manifestation. If it's posted for you, that's all the soul is there. It has to stay in the conjunction, in contact with where it came from, because it does not have any other physicality except where it came from. You will find, it's in the writing of Baha'u'llah, blessed is his name, it says, no physical body has to be buried more than 1 hour from point of separation of the soul from physicality, what you call death. When it was written 140 years ago, nobody could understand. Oh yeah, with their rule, you find the Baha'i graveyards very close to the center where people can bury them within 1 hour. But that wasn't the rule. The rule is, if you understand, now that you understand the space technology the way we do, and it was a knowledge open to prophet of the past, somebody dies in planet Zeus, Earth become a graveyard for the man who used to be from here. Everybody wants to come back. Would you like to open a graveyard of souls or bodies? The understanding has to be understood in the true meaning of what the prophets of the creation call. Now, if you understand even that, and you understand there is no time zone in the world of creation, then you can imagine how far you can go in the universe in 1 hour. Man hasn't even understood the first writing of the Baha'u'llah, bless his name. Any other question?
Mr. Kash,
Yes?
good day to you. It's Jalal from Iraq. I have this question for...
Good day to you. I was near your country this last week. I saw your land is beautiful.
I hope still beautiful, my dear.
It's dependent on the perception of the man.
Yeah, we all wish that everything will come good with your technology, sir. Mr. Kash, this question I have it for about 5-6 months, and every time I want to ask you about it and something happens. My question is, everything I wish...
It means you were not ready yet.
Yeah, maybe.
It means you were not ready to understand it. Maybe now I don't understand it, then we have a problem.
No, I think you understand it very fully. Everything I wish or I plan, it will not come true. And everything I make it randomly, just in 1 second of thinking, it will come 100% accurate. If I play lotto with random numbers, it will I'm sure it will come 99.9% accurate. But if I plan anything, even I planning to ask you something happens.
Don't go to a casino then.
No, I tried it. I didn't succeed.
Yeah.
So
carry on.
So what's happening here? Anything I wish, anything I plan, I will not succeed with it.
Isn't your wish tainted with the wanting and needing that somebody else possesses? Where what you don't plan comes from the balance of the field forces of the universe, because it's been already predetermined.
Maybe I thought about that.
Yeah. We have a very nice saying in Farsi. We say, not necessarily what you want is good for you.
But it's for people, for wishing all the time, wishing good for people.
Maybe it's your wish physically, but in your soul says, if they have it, I have less, I better keep it the other way. You know something? I always say, what people say is not what necessarily they think. It's the same with the emotion and the soul. And you have to understand, when you become closer and closer to full transparency, you leave your work, the work of your soul, to the hand of the universe. This is what is called a full trust. What you don't wish comes true, it means the position has been achieved for your body to find its balance. What you wish, you're putting the magnet in a position you want it, and the other magnets have to move to fulfill your wish, and they don't want to move. That's all it means. Because the wish of a man is the totality of the structure of the soul of the humanity. One day man will learn. This is what I said. People who used to be the knowledge seekers, the original knowledge seekers, Armin is one of them. I put a bulb, a very nice bulb, in the center of the table, filled with ganses to the top. And this ball was hanging. And I set the teaching room in a very square shape, that there was no, I never take a seat where I sit that they have to look into. And the ball was here in the center. We still have this ball. I told them, when all your souls wants the same thing equal and you're transparent and true to yourself, the ball will shine. It'll become the totality of the universe. It hung there till John planned my murder, and the ball started going black. When I saw the black, I said, my murderer is here. It was so simple. If the truth has supposed to be the 8 people having the balance equal, when it goes black, it means somebody is taking too much. And when you take too much, you take a life of a man. I knew with that ball, there is a murderer on the table. But it became 2 because they start working as an association. And stayed that way. That ball is still there. It carries the wrong intention of John because he came to murder. In a very short time, the Keshe Foundation supporters will see how the balance will come. In a Universal Council meeting, I said last week, 2 weeks ago, my wish is the end of kingship. And I actually see that to that. Because when you have somebody has to be the top and a king, he'll do anything to stay in his position. When the man is equal, because they're all equal in the soul, then physicality will give. So in a short time in come, very short time, before you can imagine, there shall be no kings on this planet because the man will be equal. But once it starts, I call it the autumn of kings, where we had the spring uprising, we'll have the autumn of the kingship, because it's time for it. To progress to the equality of the man in soul and physicality, we need to understand nobody is higher than the other. We are only by serving. And then the more you serve, goes back what I said. The more you give, the more you have, the more transparent you become. And then the strange thing is, as I said, when you give, you don't need to lie. It's the job of the person or entity which receives it, if he likes to accept it. If he accepts it, he has to change his position. And this is the reality. Many times, many human beings are tested. The biggest test for man, because lying was part of the structure of the life. You got to understand something in the culture of the faith and religions. Those religions who force a man to bend 17 times or 5 times or 1 time, or those who don't bend to anything, just they do what they like, you see the progress of the cell. The soul totally progresses different way. When you continuously remind the physicality, you're nothing, you're subordinate, you bend in front of me. Why should a man bend in front of the Creator, where he is the creator of himself? And that process brings with it a lot of false obligation and the stealing from the soul of the man. This is what no one ever understands. the creator of the man's problem is the belief of the man in him being correct to himself, but not the others. So what you wish you is tainted with physicality. What happens with the soul is the balance of what is really already accepted. So there is no need for you to move in physical dimension. The soul of the animal is much, much better than the soul of the man, because in so many ways there is no animosity. You have to go. I'm teaching. Our mascot is here, and he has to be with Baba. Yes, I know you talk. Shh. He talks. He's the only talk. He tells me, I want to be there. Okay, come. Do you want to come? It's very interesting. There is, he said his word. Can you pick him up, please? He talks. He literally talks. This dog tells you everything he wants. He's a human. He thinks he's a human. He sleeps like a human. He does everything human race does. Something strange was happening yesterday in the medical teaching. I think we lost it, or it's Rick Raman is back.
Chikesh, I wanted to get your video on there so we could see the action with the animal and so on.
Oh no, it's not an animal. He's a boss. He decides everything.
Well,
he decides which hotel I can go to because they don't let me in. He's more important than me. He decides where we eat because in restaurants they say they don't want dogs, so we go where he can be allowed. So he's the boss.
Well, it's true of most dogs, most animals. We tend to take really good care of them, and we do everything for them. We feed them, we house them, we do everything. It's like they run us more than we run them, in a way.
But anyway. But you know something? They got very complicated and sophisticated, these animals. They even have a human passport. Without the passport, you can't move them. They're getting upgraded. This is very interesting. What is interesting, as we were talking yesterday about the animals, and we were discussing it with or sitting with the medical teaching, Caroline said something very nice, and it made a lot of sense. You know, we have tested all these cancer trials now with the live animal, with the mice. So there was a discussion that to use this material, the new cancer research development on animals, it needs FDA approval. But we actually use the animal to prove they have already passed the test. What are we going to do to get FDA approval for it? So they have already been approved before the human race. And it's very strange how we treat them and then we ignore them when it suits us. Many times I always say in the animal research, because I came to understand animal research in a very, very early stage of my education. I have a very nice friend. He's a lecturer, he's a professor in one of the leading universities in America. He's a pharmaceutical guy. We used to share a house together in the center of London. So anytime you wanted the food, you go and eat with your housemate. So I had to go to Imperial College, go into the lab where he used to literally, I could see mice with the bits on their head hanging around. They had to do tests. What we do now with our animals in there. And many times I saw him with stress. And then next thing I knew, he comes home 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, says, everything went wrong. The experiment is wasted. A week. I said to him many times, did you put the right intention into it? Or you wanted to do it because it would have justified your results? He said, you don't understand this, Mehran. You don't understand. We put it in the centrifuge, it has to come out, this chemical. I said, you took the life of animal. You had to have respect for it. He'll give you what you want. And he understood one day. And he came home and says, Mehran, it works the way you say, huh? I understood this structure of interaction of the soul from early age, very young. I could see you can transparent emotion without other people knowing. I said many times, you can make people fall in love with you like nothing. And the falling in love with you is not the physical, but through the soul. And that soul bond means doesn't matter in what dimension you become physically, is irrelevant, because the strength of the connection, what you call love, is at the higher order. When the people of the universe brought the knowledge to man, they call it the soulmate. What does a soulmate means? It means a respect of emotion and physicality. At the soul level is total transparency. And people don't understand. It says we are soulmates. This came from man of the space, because man at that time could not understand the totality of the strength of the soul. It means I'm independent of the physicality and emotion. It means I have bonded at the level much higher order than existence of the man in the physical condition. It means then you understand man in its dimension of the souls have many mates. It's him who decides who shall be or shall not be. It's not that you have one soulmate. In many times, in the process of the development of the soul to become the messenger of the universe for the mankind, we meet many souls in our travels, which they are the old souls we made commitment to as friendship commitment in our passage through the universe. We meet them in physicality in different dimensions, and it's not the man who understands what it means. They take it as you are lovers, but in fact you are people who share the balance of the position at a higher order. And by receiving the new soul in your proximity, you receive more energy that you can give more. So next time when you speak about the soulmate, understand what it means. Soulmate does not mean physical attachment to sexuality, but soulmate means we have gathered and understood each other's strength at the level beyond the physicality of the man without physical interaction. Does not mean anything more than that. The one who's illiterate reads it away because it suits it. But in reality, that's what it is. The knowledge was brought to the man, but the man never understood. The power of the soul is beyond the position of physicality. And in the world of physicality, we have many mates and friends and whatever. We go drinking, we go playing football with, but we never marry to. It's the same in the level of the soul. We have in the world of universal community many souls from different parts of the universe. And as the man progresses in that direction, he'll understand more and more. Because creating a soulmate in the space has a lot of advantages. It brings you coffee like this. But the lady has walked in with the coffee cups. But what it means, when you become the messengers of the universe, when you have a soulmate, which has the same strength of understanding at a given position, it's like you go from, let's say, Austria to Washington. You know somebody there. You walk in, they pick you up from the airport, they take you home. You don't need to travel and find a taxi. You don't need to worry which hotel I'm going to stay in. This is the destination, but the strength of the soul. Man, one day will understand the true soulmates are the guidelines of the man travel in deep space. It's actually very much is like a little house with a little light in it that you know who lives there, and this is another post on the way to where you go. We make many, many soulmates in the travel of the space of the man, because without them, the deep space is a very dark place and can be lost very easy. Now you understand why we call what I wished it didn't happen, but what I did not wish it happened, and I knew it. So it means you have started understanding the difference between the position of the soul and the physicality. Next time when you make a physical wish to win a lottery and you buy it and it doesn't win, do a different way. Say, I put this money that somebody will come out of the pain. I do not need it, but I hope will survive, will serve somebody else's. According to the statistics, 95% of the people who win the lottery, they become worse off after 5 years because they spend it so much they never know it finishes. And then they become worse because they had a taste. Psychologically, they become deprived. This research is done by a group of Camelot in England about 10 years ago. They followed the number of people who became millionaires with lottery, and they saw how over years they became worse off. Now, they tell you you won 100 million, but they tell you can't spend it. We tell you how to spend it. We structure it for you that you stay millionaire for a long time. We let you spend the first 10 million because you wanted to have 2 Rolls Royces and you have to have the house and everything else, but the rest we look after. It's beneficial both for the man who won it and for the organization. Now they take 5% commission on what they manage. So it pays off very well. They get their 1 million back at the end of the day. You got to understand the interaction between the soul of the man and the physicality of the man. And in so many ways, how you interact with your soul, as I said, decides the length and the separation of the boundary of the physicality to the dimension of the soul and emotion of the man. Then you understand how can you reduce your size and change your shape according to the wishes of the soul. You've seen these very smart, rich people. They fall in love with a girl who has nothing and they will start living like them and they become what are called tramps, just to fit in because they love. It's the same process. You have to fit in the structure of the soul of the man. Then you decide how you manifest yourself, how you will look. And some people who reach the point of it doesn't matter anymore, physicality, they understand it's irrelevant, they give up. But by the time they give up, they realize what they gave up on, they cannot have the past. And then we see them as tramps. There are many, 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 many scientists, professors, especially of the highest education, we see as tramps. You know what the tramp is? They're on the streets collecting food. When you speak to them, they are seated professors, they used to be, and they found out the reality is not worth anything. I know 2 or 3 of them on the streets of Manchester when I used to go. I couldn't believe a professor collecting rubbish, eat. He said to me, there is nothing more than this. Why should I worry to work so hard? We were with Dr. Klaus a couple of weeks ago in Rome. After the conference, we decided to take the children for a walk. We went to Rome. We landed near the Vatican. And as we were going to the Vatican, the most richest house in the world, you walk, you'll see people leaving cardboard boxes on the fringes and inside the Vatican City. And they're very proud they're collecting billions and putting people on the street in the cold to sleep in the boxes. Where is the soul of the man? What I call is for man to understand. Is trapped within the physical structure of the physicality, where in fact, does not mean that you have to give everything to the poor because then they don't, but you have to understand not having the physical wealth makes you think, and that thinking makes you wise, not in a financial term, but becoming closer to your soul to understand the physicality and the life, the way we live, is not worth living for. Many times I've said, I'm ashamed to be in the body of the man because it means you have to absorb so many lies and still stand with your face in front of it as you haven't heard. God calling. Next time, sir. I was told the master is coming, so he's trying to get in. We're trying to stop. Next question.
Mr. Cash?
Yes?
Do you hear me okay?
Who's speaking?
This is Justin from Quebec.
Hi,
Justin. Yes, remember me?
Oh, many times.
Okay.
Depends what's the surprise this time.
Okay. So my question tonight is about, in the previous workshop, you talk about the psychosomatic, and you were somehow pointing that it was from the emotional side, but the root of the word is from soma, which means illness, and psycho, which means soul. And would you explain
to us how you see the difference between the soul and the emotion. Or
many times we explain. Emotion
sorry?
is, many times I have explained, emotion is the
Mm.
filter for the
Yes.
strength of the soul. How would you like to have it? You want to put a filter to look blue, it'll look blue. You put a filter to be black, it'll be black. It's what you absorb in what spectrum which changes the position of the physicality through the emotion. If the man learns a very simple system of transformation of the energy, as we discussed before, to matter, you can make your emotion through your own understanding that any position you decide, be it the palm of your hand or a point on the table, to produce what you wish. Because it's you who's the filter, not necessarily standing in front where the eye sits. Man, if he learns in time how to use the structure of his brain in production of materials, man will soon learn, depending looking on the left or the right, or be it behind you, you can produce different materials according to the strength of the filtering which you created. So your emotion is a filter in what to manifest in physicality using the strength of the, what I call the soul of the man. That's as simple as that. It's you who's got to find out where the light comes and what filter you want on it. It's a very, very interesting point. I'm going to share something here you will understand. Man has never understood this. If you want to take a screenshot of this, man will understand this one day too. Look at, I'm going to clean this out and show you something you never understood. Now I explain more. This is the brain of the man. Sorry, it's lump-sided. It's got some disease, I don't know which one. If this is the soul, this is the position of the soul of the man. Look at the field it has to cross to reach the position of the upper arm. Look at the space it has to travel to get the position of the fingers, considering these are your ears. Look at how far it needs to go to reach to the emotional part. You see why emotion is stronger? Because it is in a lesser distance from the other parts in respect to the strength it receives. When a man understands that all its emotional part are so close and sitting direct, the rest will come. When you look at the structure of the brain, it has something like this in it. That filtering is the separation of the man physical part with the soul of the man. It's a protection. If you look at it, it's literally like a half UFO. Get a scan, have a look. So what you understand is the shape of the physicality, because your arms and legs are somewhere here, has exchanged the radiation of the fields to the further distance to the control of the position within the structure of the brain. So what your filter does is very simple. I decide how much I'm going to give, and in respect to, if I allow more to absorb here, I touch the emotion. If I allow to absorb less here to go further, to become arm-link connection. But don't forget, the brain is not the physical connection. The brain is the emotional line to the point. This is what a lot of people don't understand. In one of the teachings in the medical part, I explained this and nobody understood. And explain it again, maybe you understand. The position of your, what do you call it? Let's say here, which is your finger, and this is your finger. In so many ways, if you look, we always said you have blood and you have lymph. And what you will realize very simply is Because you have of the same strength in your neurosystem in the motion of the blood, the information mainly is not sent through the neurosystem. The through emotion goes through the fields of strength by acceptance of the position. Neurosystems are very bottom field strength because they have to go through materials. Most of our information, our emotion, is carried directly from the position, from the soul into the body of the man. And when this breaks down, you call it a stroke, where the physicality has to carry the information and it cannot do so. The valve here comes into operation and you do it, and then you get the stroke. You get epileptic attacks. So it's you who got to decide what filters you want to produce here. You want to create a filter at the strength of the cry, happiness, or you create one emotion that I'm happy, doesn't matter what it is. And then you find out you behave different.
Okay. Now.
Second question costs money from now on.
How much? It's
the soul of the man. The soul of the man to be enlightened.
This is a question about the emotion.
Yes.
I just wonder.
Wait 1 second. I have Caroline asking a question. What do you want?
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yes, just let me do one thing. I have to give a message. Yeah. What did you say?
Is it to Caroline?
No, I'm not saying to Caroline.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I just have to respond to one of the core members. Arman just came in. I tell you a joke for the people who come late. Sorry, Arman John. Carry on. Yes.
Oops.
Yes, but when it doesn't do, it has to go through physicality.
We can't hear the question at all, Mr.
Yeah, the thing is we don't have a microphone here. You can't ask any question in this room. She wants to understand how it comes that you get a stroke from the emotion to the other part. Yeah. Later on, because I don't understand. This is the privilege of having a wife here. It's just pulling her muscles, as we say. What you see, if you look at a heart attack, if you look at the heart attack, if you look at the heart attack, the physical emotional part, the emotion becomes from the physicality. That's where the blood comes, everything. It comes the emotion of the physicality. When it cannot handle the emotion, it goes in conjunction with what it is at the strength, with the soul strength, and then it carries itself out. And in that, it's like a volcano. You create as much damage. It overpasses and superpasses all the filters. That's why you get a stroke, because the energy is so much that the physical connection does not take this. This is important for those of you who understand this. There are no blood vessels in the brain of the man. So it carries no emotional part of the physicality. If you cut a brain, you don't see any blood vessels running inside it. It's white. It's CO2 plus zinc. But you have the blood which goes around the brain. You have the blood vessels. Or they go within the internal structure. The body of the man has separated its real true, the strength of the soul, from the physicality of the dimension of the body. No. So if man understands this, will understand how to handle his emotion. And then you understand how to carry the physicality in respect to the soul. This is by enlightenment, detachment from physicality. It doesn't happen. You can't buy it. You can't try. I'm trying to reach my soul. I'm trying. But reaching the soul, you have to be more detached from physicality. I don't sleep at night, wake up, what's going to be tomorrow, because I know whatever is going to be tomorrow, 7 billion inhabitants of this planet have already decided for me. So I take the position where it comforts everyone, not where I want to be. That, why should I? Because I'm here to serve 7 billion plus the animals. They have to decide how strong they are, how much they matured. The more they mature, the more I can teach. A lot of people think that they have matured, but in reality, through the physical interaction of their body, they come further than ever closer. You see many of the people who come around Foundation. I'm serving, I'm doing this, but things are not going right because the intention and the work of the soul is not done. Yeah. The problem, it is not us. The problem is us not understanding ourselves. We hear too many lies. And if I can tell people, if I can teach people, if they understand, every time you lie and they say, I never lie, I told you everything. But as you created the position not to do, not to say, one has to use energy to understand. So you already stolen the energy from. The guy who puts a hand in the pocket at least knows what is done. The one who steals from the emotion and the soul, it'll take longer for it to come because you add too much physicality to get there. I keep on saying it's the easiest way to develop the soul of the man. The full understanding and transparency. And this is how even we run the foundation. We have a problem. I tell the team, this is what it is. We are doing something. Those who are responsible need to know. I share, because if I'm not there, it's their job. But if I'm there, they know what is to come. As I said many times, people who used to be around me, they know I carry the management, international management, with no drawers in my offices. You could never find any drawers or baskets or anything on my tables anywhere in my office. Because what I had, it was there. Because I know the minute I leave, they go and see what's in the cupboard. I'm not there for 4 weeks. Why should I allow them to commit a crime to become a thief? So what is not there, they don't commit a crime. What do they do? Look at most of the people. Now what we see. We know we have opened the biggest pedophile organizations in the world. They are connected to the biggest higher links in the financial world, and they're all connected to the high scientific organizations. We took the plug out on one, the rest are running, trying to cover themselves. We didn't do anything. We served to free children from abuse, not to steal from their soul. And then it's the soul of those children who are putting back to us what is going. People taking trips all over the world trying to prove there is something. Nobody attacks the Keshe Foundation for the knowledge. It's if we get cash, then we can cover our own what I call experiment. The reality is there. I don't go, but they go to do, they harm themselves, because the more they go, the more tracks they leave taking souls with them. This is the beauty of it. If you understand, you don't get attached to it. What we see, what do they do? In the structure of the whole understanding, man has not understood the position of the soul. Those who understood 6,000 years ago, the time of Moses, they've used it. Because now they could create something which now they could keep the two separate, the physical part and the emotional part, the soul of the man. So you have the church, you have the, what I call, we return the stones of Colosseum back to Colosseum, because at least physicality, you could see where you get hurt, how you're going to get eaten by a lion. The stones have been taken to a new place called Vatican. They're still from your soul. You never know what they've taken. This is when man has to understand the difference. They do it in different ways. And in so many ways, we see the interaction. We see, but till these people don't come, we don't understand where we made a mistake. It's beautiful to have people who go out to find your weaknesses, because you don't have time to do it. They do it for you. Then you can understand how to repair the weakness. And this is part of growing up. This is part of understanding how to give without actually condition of going to take that you can give. You know the name of Robin Hood? He took from the poor, the rich, and gave to the poor. Have you ever stood still to think of it? Rob, stealing, in hood. It means steal in the darkness that people are not aware of. Not the name of the man. It's in there, but we are not used to. Oh, he's a Robin Hood. A Robin in English means somebody who steals, thief. Huh? On a hood that you don't see, it steals in the dark. And this is a pattern of the British system. We see it now in Syria, we see it in other countries. Okay, the other question, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kesh. This is
yes.
Joshua.
Good morning, Dr. Kwata.
Yeah, I want to thank you very much for the gifts you have given to humanity. All the gifts.
You haven't seen it yet. We just gave you the crumb. Wait till the big box comes.
Yes, but you have shared your knowledge freely all the time without any limitation, and I'm very grateful for that. This is what I had always been looking for.
You're
knowledge,
welcome.
which was difficult to get in one place. So we have all the knowledge we need in one place, and that place is you. So I'm very grateful indeed. Now I have a question for you. If I heard you correctly, and I believe I did, you said that man elevates his soul at the point of death. So it seems to me it would make sense to create that condition without going overboard. That is to say, whatever condition is created at the point of death when man dies, and that is when he elevates his soul, can we actually create that condition without dying? Because then
Exactly. You want to post it yourself, or do you like to be posted? That's the difference. When you post it yourself, you decide where it goes. When they post you, you have to stay at the discretion of the soul of the others. And then it comes the point of judgment. There is something which a lot of people have not comprehended. I'm not going to just say you don't understand, because kindness is a lot of people don't like that one. But in reality, people never have comprehended it. Is that when you come to the point of separation from the physicality, now you're in a pool of magnets. When you're in physicality, you decide where you walk. You get this poor chap, which is your soul, on your head, and you take him anywhere you like to go. He's there, he can't go anywhere, you trapped him. When you die, this chap goes where he likes. And where he likes is according to what you have gathered in the strength in respect to the other souls that he finds his position. This is the problem with physicality. With the world of physicality, we drag the soul into any mud we like, and then we blame the mud and the place we've been to. When you finish with the dragging of this soul across different places, then something strange happens. Is now is the soul. It's totally fields. We've seen it with the magnets I show. When you put a magnet here and here, according to the strength we have, we call it magnet positioning. So in how much the soul has absorbed and given and what the strength has gathered in its center dictates the position of the soul in respect to the others. Now it's detached from physicality. You can't take what do you call it, the soul to macro, or take him to another shopping place, or take him to Harrods, because all the soul rich goes. You'll find out the richer places you go, the less soul is in it, because they've stolen more to be in that position. So when you come to the point of detachment, that's what I call, is that doesn't matter where the physicality lies, because it's the soul which guides the physicality. And man never understands it. If man understands that 2 legs and 2 arms are actually the worst thing man ever had, because he's carrying somebody who doesn't want to go to a place, then he has to balance himself. He balances with the soul. And then you say, I went there and that accident happened. Because you did something in a physical condition, the soul was there, so soul tries to bring it in the balance, that what you've done wrong now you've taken from something else. Then consequence of sudden move is not knowing what you're going to hit. Many times I explain that in the teaching. And many times something happens to me, I say, I wonder what did I do in physicality that my soul is trying to correct. You see many people who are busy with their physical life and they do anything to get anywhere. At some point in life they pay everything back. And that's the pattern. And if you understand, I leave it to my soul, but I would like to be wealthy enough in physicality that I can give more. This happened to one guy. A man, literally going back about 80, 90 years ago, a truck driver in south of Iran. He's not a merchant, he just have an old banger truck taking things from one place to another. He comes to a new path of belief, and he goes to see the founder of the faith. And he asks him, what do you want? He says, I want to be the richest man, that I can give whatever I make, but in your path. He says, your wish is sincere, is granted. In less than 10 years, he became the richest man in the country, literally the richest man. And he made one thing, he never broke his bond with his, what I call, creator. The more he gave, the more richer he became. And he became a banker for the government. But he never broke his bond. This is how we do. This is how it's done. The wealth doesn't come by physicality. The wealth comes by the position of sincerity, what you give to what you take. Your soul is unfortunate to be in the prison of the physicality of the man. To free the soul that dictates a free position of physicality takes a lot of trust. Because even though it's within the structure of the brain of the man, allows the other souls to dictate it where to be, that he can serve best the others. This is how I live. You cannot, many times I said to Caroline, you cannot give if the recipient is not ready to get, to receive. And then it becomes a torture for both. One gives so much, the other one does not, and is not prepared to take because he cannot see the strength of what is given. And then it becomes a burden to both. One is not receiving what he needs, and the one is giving so much that the other one doesn't receive. It happens in many marriages of business, personal relationship, relationship with the God. Expectation from the Creator is the state of level of a man not understanding himself that he is a creator. Thou shalt not steal. More men steal from their own souls than actually steal from pocket of the others. Then they position themselves. Any other question?
A question in the live stream. I'm not quite sure how to put it, but I'll just read it from Ivan. He says he talks about his heart. That he'd like to get more plasma in his heart, and he needs it desperately. My heart is like a run-down battery and needs plasma into it to help you all and make us all strong and together, and to please ask if there's something that can be done.
Yeah, are we going to start building solar stations people can come and tank
up to tank up their plasma tank?
Yeah, I think you're good at that, Rick. Rick, you're very good. You're positioned near the lake, somewhere in the mountains. There's less problem and pollution. Open the solar, what do you call it, fuel station.
Okay, that's an idea.
It doesn't need any oil to get poisoned with, huh?
Isn't the CO2 GANS water might be a good plasma
depends, are you
rejuvenator.
giving or are you taking? Any other question? Oh, we stopped teaching today. It's 11 o'clock. I think what we taught today, if man understands, is the change of the course for humanity, but it's for him to understand.
I heard a voice
Hello,
there.
This sounds like Paul.
Yeah, this is Paul from Togo. Good morning, Mr. Keshen. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Paul. We are neighbors and we never see each other.
Yeah, we should see each other. So I have
Togo
some questions.
Next to Accra, so it's 4 hours. It could be there. He can't make the 4 hours. Okay, carry on.
Okay, I have some question. One question which will need 3 answers. We knew from the teaching that every cell has his soul, and we know that the emotion is the pattern of physicality. It meaning that, if I understand very well, that every cell have his emotion. And in one of the teaching, you were saying that hydrogen field is the soul. And from the conference of Rome, we knew that emotion is 80% zinc oxide and 20% of CO2. Now, if we take atmosphere condition, I want to be clarified if the atmosphere condition, the field of atmosphere is cohon. If yes, so the...
First of all, no, because it's not just oxygen and carbon. There are many other things in that atmosphere you breathe.
Okay, thank you.
Let me explain to you something. Okay, Paul, you brought something up. Let me explain to you something interesting. You always have to look to the totality. This is Earth, and these are the waters. It makes a full circle. Here is the desert, and here you have the mountains. I'm not a very good drawer. According to the gravitational magnetic field of the center of the Earth, which creates the gravitational and magnetical field of the planet, and according to the matter state within the structure. You see, if you look at it, the center core, the Caroline core, is your soul. According to the filter, which is the layer of different materials inside the planet, only on the solid part, because the magma part inside is a standard filter. According to what material from the center sits to the point of where you live, in the desert or on the mountain, you do not only absorb the Kohen, but you absorb and breathe the materials which this environment pulls to itself. So if you thought that you are only there and you only take Mr. Cohen, you're very wrong. Because in the last teaching, I explained that we see layers on the Earth. And according to the gravitational magnetic field strength, which is nearly enough the same, we see different layers. As the field changes in the center, the strength changes and we see different layers of material according to that. So when you breathe, you're continuously taking what this position has dictated for you to take from. It's not just Mr. Cohen. It's everything which is in relation. That's why you can live in that environment, because now you're connected to the strength of what is there, both in the air and in the physicality of the land. So that affects your emotion. That affects the state of the giving and taking of the soul. Why do we say, oh, people from this part of the world are very generous? Because they take so much from the environment that giving becomes natural, because that's part of their structure. Why do we see different behavior? If man understands his behavior is related to structure of his physicality and what is absorbed from the interaction of the fields of the universe, plus everything else, then you can make yourself to become Chinese in no time, and you go to India, you become Indian and the rest of it. Because you condition yourself to emotional level of the understanding of the place of the birth or position in conjunction with what your DNA has been put into. Man has got a lot to learn. Sometimes it's better to give up because they don't learn. Any other question?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Another question is, if we take on the base of emotion is 80% zinc oxide and 20% of CO2. Now, can emotion should exist without connection between physicality and soul?
Then you created a new animal. Let me know what it is, we'll use it.
Please?
I said, then you created a new animal. You got to let us know, then we use it. It'll be fantastic. The soul decide the physicality and all be the same. Actually, this happens in part of the universe when the physicality is irrelevant. All the created more or less convey the same kind of fields. It's greenish, silverish in the color of the eye of a man. It dictates on the planet Earth structure to be able to live with no stomach but a tall structure. The fingers extend to the point that it needs absorption of the energy directly from the earth, that it can keep the balance flow. In the universe, most of the creatures look the same. It's the sense of the soul where they come from which dictates the manifestation of the, more or less, the way they think and the way they conduct themselves. Once the man has everything he needs, man will not be like this anymore. He will change. You don't need hand to commit crimes. You don't need the eye to see the sins of the man.
Mr. Cash?
Yes?
When you talk about in a space in your lecture or lecturing, do you exclude the other planets?
What? No. The other planets are what dictates what you are at the position of manifestation.
So they are included.
Of course.
Ah,
You
okay.
put 20 magnets on the table and move one, and you see how the others move.
Yeah. So there is aliens on other planets, right?
We are the aliens. They are not friendly.
Yeah,
We're all
we
the
are
same.
all
We come
aliens.
from the same universe.
Yes. I heard there were a parallel universe. Have you ever heard of this?
I don't know. You find one, I'll run across the two. But it's all the same.
Yes. On the same principle. Yeah.
Any other question? Shall we? Yes.
There was a fellow Ram who would like to, I think he was here last week, he wanted to show his results dealing with dowsing. I don't know if you want to get into that or not right now, but...
No, can we delay to next week?
Okay, we'll put that off till next week.
Because the dowsing is very much dependent on the emotion of the man who carries it.
As you like, Mr. Cash. Anyway, I'm very happy to hear what you are saying. And I have quantitative and qualitative results with my pendulum. If you agree, maybe 5 minutes is enough to give you the information.
What are you showing? A video recorded or live?
Live.
Live, okay. There are no Coca-Colas on the table. We are advertising.
Okay, so let's begin first. I want to.
You have to share the screen.
Okay.
I don't. Rick controls the sharing in the background.
I am sharing the screen.
Yeah, but I have to stop sharing. I'm done. I'm out.
Did you want to show your something on your desktop?
I think he wants to show us present live. Right. No video.
Okay, well, just start your video then.
I am trying to share the screen.
Do you want to share your desktop or do you want to share your live video?
I want to show you my experiments. No, I don't have any video.
You need to go on your Zoom and select camera.
Okay.
That's what you want to do is select, you want your camera live, correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you want, Ram?
Yes, I'm
okay. Then get out of the screen share. You don't want screen share at all. You want to turn on the camera. So let me try to screen share here, and that'll take you out, or your screen share at least. And then I'll stop my screen share, and you can start your video with the start video button. There we go.
So you can see me very good.
Yeah, let me get that set up here. Okay,
what I want first.
He's got a very nice hat. I've got one of those.
It is because I don't have enough hair, so the hat is my problem.
I glue mine on every morning and I count them.
Okay.
Can you bring it down or bring the camera lower a little bit, please? We see your a little bit more here. Okay, thank you very much.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
When can we see your test, please?
My first test deals with a magnet. You know, I discovered that with my.
You gotta put your camera further down, or bring the thing near to the level of your nose.
Okay. Yeah. This is a magnet. This is a magnet.
Yeah.
And with my pendulum, I determine what is the North Pole and what is the South Pole. Now, for instance, when my pendulum.
Can you go further up, please? We can't see.
My pendulum turns like this, clockwise. This means that the magnet is south oriented. If I turned it and I make it not oriented, just my pendulum turns the anti-clockwise. This is a very important result. And I decided...
You decide, not the magnet.
No, it's my hand effect which turns I decide. No, I did not decide. It's the reaction of my hand over the field of the magnet. The field of the magnet makes my hand do this, and the pendulum is an amplifier of what happens on my hand. So I decided to do this, to try to see what happens with guns. First of all, I take water, pure water, and I make swing my pendulum back and forth. Nothing happens. It doesn't turn neither clockwise nor anti-clockwise. If I take now CO2 guns, this is CO2 guns, it immediately turns clockwise. It means that the field coming from CO2 guns, this field is south oriented. If I take CH3 guns and make the same experiment, it turns completely the other side, that anti-clockwise. That means that the field coming from this is north oriented. These are quantitative results. Now, qualitative, sorry. Concerning quantitative results, I use what we call Bovis chart. With Bovis chart, we can measure the vibration rate from any field, and I did it. I show you my results here. You can see them. The vibration rates measured in Bovis units are the following. You can see ganses, water ganses, and CHON also. For CHON, I have only two results. Well, let me say this finished. That's not very long. I hope this can be useful. Just another detail. These experiments, these measures, can be done on images. For instance, if I see an image of any guns, I can, with my pendulum, find what is the vibration rate of this. Oh, I did it for the bottles coming from Accra. I wanted to know what is the vibration rates of the bottles that you have shown to us coming from Accra, these bottles of water. And I found this is, I don't know if you can see, in the first line, the six bottles give me the same vibration rate, and it is very high, 10 times more high than the one that I obtained myself with my guns. Well, thank you very much for your interest in this work.
Thank you. Any other questions, or shall we call it a day? Hand it over to Caroline for half an hour.
Mr. Cash?
Yes.
Yes, hi. This is Valerie. You met me in Rome under a conference from Tenerife here. I have a small question regarding the feeding system. I remember you talking about putting CH3 in core reactors and then standing between them, and that way you can receive frequencies of meats or vegetables depending on how fast it spins. Can you please explain a little more about this?
Depends what you want. You see the CH3 goes on the, go back and look at the teaching there, because we're talking about deuterium. We're not talking about the CH3. You're taking half of the story. The full story is as you take deuterium, then you have a H2 plus CH. And in that teaching, if you remember, we don't talk about, we're talking about CH3 in a Ganser state behaves as a CH and a H2, or what we call deuterium, in the plasmatic field strength. Then you have what we call a star formation of the fields, which is a very strong giver, but as it takes equal, it becomes balanced with itself. It's totally different thing. So you
Okay,
decide
no.
how much.
Okay, no, I didn't mean in the meeting in Rome. I watched 138 knowledge seekers, and there you explained about a beater. If you put it CH3 in the beater and you put it in high
This is the
speed.
science behind it.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to understand centrifuge in plasma plays a different game.
All right.
Centrifuge in the matter state, you have different property. You can create a centrifuge condition just by vacuum, which works totally opposite. When you talk about the materials in the Earth is a centrifuge system. And if you understand that, then you know how to create the real gravitational magnetic field. And nobody up to now has ever created for any of the, what they call it, the tests. Because they never understand it.
Okay. So if I would like to feed myself plasmatically, what would be the best way to do that?
Ask your soul. It'll feed your physicality.
I am trying to. I'm trying to. I was trying to do
transparent. It'll come. It's no use sitting there and trying to look at the apple, because most probably Apple has already given its part which you need.
No, I'm trying to make a double core reactor that can maybe give me the energy somehow from the ganses.
Yeah, but try to understand where you stand and how you come. The sun radiates its fields. Earth at the strength it is leads to amino acid combination. But we see the same light with other stars, but the material is different because the strength is different. Same amino acid strength on the moon will not play the same as here.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any other question, or go mute and we'll give it to Caroline for a few minutes. Ladies want to have a say in the Keshe Foundation. And I said, as long as within the structure of the foundation we can learn more, no problem. I'm trying to get her attention. She's busy with something. She's getting instruction what to say. Okay, what we're going to do till you find out. What I want to teach you something is very interesting. When you speak, we got Peter with us. Have you managed to make your gold yet? No time. What's happening? You're making too much of it? No time to sell or no time to make? When you make systems, especially the dynamic systems, don't get fooled by what you put in. Understand in what you create inside. As you become more and more experimental with the dynamic cores, don't look in what you put inside. Look what you make available to be in the center. This is the game. A lot of people play for a long time, they can't catch anything with it because they never understood. It's not the volume of the things you put in, it's how much you create to give energy to the center, and the center decides the physicality of it. That's why when you go with a high resolution speed, you see a gap. Because now magnetic gravitationally they position themselves in respect to the strength of the center. Any other question? If you understood what I said. If you haven't understood, I'll give you the game of how you can create plasmas that by interaction of the plasmas dynamically you can create new materials. This is a guarantee for production of whatever you like. Move the reactors back and forth till you get what you want, or change the speed of the rotation, you still get the same. Move in a different position in respect to each other, you start making different elements compared to the other side. You will see this a lot of time. You won't go back, but you produce new materials. Always remember in the plasma the full rules. There are two here which are coming out, and there are two here which are going out this way too. As much as you have the interaction of the absorption. North Pole is not that it's giving everything, but it's taking so much too that it brings the balance. And when there is a disbalance, it creates the rotation of the planet. You don't need to have engines or whatever. You just need separation of differential strength in the plasma, and in the physicality of the motion, whatever you need moves. This is how you create motion on the land. This is how you create motion in the space. A long, long way to go before man sees it. I haven't seen anybody who's crossed this threshold barrier of understanding. You ready? Rick, can you check? She sent you something. If you don't like it, don't show it. Exactly. A lot of people send a lot of pictures. We'll come back after Caroline is finished. Thank you very much. Let me tell you one thing. Those who insult the teaching of the movement, it has to be all the time me and the others, they insult their own intelligence. So we have to be open. Thank you.
Hello, Rick.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this
Picture.
picture. It's hard to get off the Facebook here.
Take your time, Rick.
Okay, I've got it here. You want me just to screen share it then?
Yeah, you can screen share it. I keep
then
on
we won't be able to
see
see you though.
I hope it is clear enough. This lady is already getting into the position as Mr. Kesh has been trying to explain to us. She sent it to me and she asked me just keep people out because I have no permission to go public with it. So I cut the lines off. That's what Mr. Kesh had to wait a little bit for. When she goes, she says, I wasn't even aware of I was achieving this. It was somebody else from the back who was taking the picture. And she says, I was amazed because I didn't know. I said, I'm so happy you're sharing this with me because that's the point what Mr. Kesh says. The transparency, and there are a lot of people which are giving and sharing and helping and supporting, but they don't believe in themselves enough, but it's already there. I just wanted to show you that this point we are already reaching in small numbers, but each one of you gets a confirmation that he's in the right path of achieving it. So somewhere we are already getting there. But what I would like to really put in the light with the teaching of Mr. Kesh. I know he goes very fast, and I know it's a load which we are receiving, and not everything is always very clear. Have no doubt about your capabilities. Everybody has a gift. Start recognizing the gift which is right in front of you, and share it. What you see emerging so spontaneously, you can activate this in your children. That's why you're parents. I have whole day yesterday. I didn't leave the room just for a small coffee, but I made sure I stayed within the internet work. Because in Africa, there is the family which has a boy which is suffering very badly, high fevers, really to a point the parents are panicking. They have no medical support sufficient. I know the conditions. So I made sure I stayed online to guide them at any level, whatever they had around them. And I called in for help from other people with what and how, what can we do to get this child out of the fever. And she has managed, because I was advising her what I do with my children. I said, you can come above your pain. Tell the child, just because they have no medication, they couldn't support the child, they couldn't release the fever, they had a little amount of mixed gans waters. And when she showed me the bottle by picture, I said, that's good, that's better than what I thought, because I thought you didn't have anything with you. I said, because the gans has been in the spray bottle, I said, do not go below half. I said, just keep on topping it up. And then wait half an hour or 10 minutes. You take just half and just keep on replenishing. I said, but make your wish to bless the water, that it will help your boy. So I was just not giving her the medication because there is none, but I was giving her the courage not to panic, to give more fear to the child, but to support the parents with such a little boy who can't move, I said, just give him the confidence he can do it. By you blessing your water to give it to the child to release the pain. You work in the same way this lady in this picture is doing. I brought it forward, it's last year or 2 years now, in a teaching. I said, you are already doing it every day. Just become conscious how you manifest this level of energy to give. Then when you hold on to it and you teach it to your children, that they get the same level of understanding. When my children came and said, Mama, this is strange or that is strange, I encouraged them to explore it more, to see what they can create with it, but always to pass it on to their friends. To go to school with a comfort, nothing's going to go wrong. Or when they see somebody who's suffering, to pass it on. These are the plasma fields which Mr. Kesh is showing. This lady is achieving it, and she said, I didn't know. Somebody after this gathering passed her this picture, and she said, because of this teaching I did, she said, I recognized, I saw. So it's the first time I'm showing this, but I had to cut it very nitty-gritty. It's not so much you don't understand. It's not so much that it's too difficult. It's not. It's to accept that you're capable of doing it. And as the gentleman earlier in the teaching said, when I wish, it doesn't happen. When I do it naturally, I get my wish. So it's the effort of creating, as Mr. Kesh said in Barletta, one of the knowledge seekers was going, really forcing himself to create. It doesn't work that way. Your giving has to be with no attachment. You just do it. But be comfortable that you can do it. Then it creates itself. So mamas, I do a call up on you again, but also on the fathers. Because yesterday I wasn't only guiding the mother, I was also guiding the father. Because they were really both worried sick. This morning, as I was here, I keep on checking my phone because I keep an eye on them. And I got the good news, the fever has broken down. The child has started eating a little bit. So I'm comfortable that they are comfortable that the boy will pull through. You have all the gifts because you already created your gifts. Your children are your gifts. Look at them as the sun because they radiate. I learn more from my children in a different way because they come and show their world to you. They have the little secrets, but we are so busy that we don't listen to them anymore. They still are connected with what Mr. Kesh is trying to tell us, the innocence. They're not attached. They are still free in their moving, and through this freedom and non-attachment, we can learn a lot and absorb. But at the same time, when they go off their path as they're growing up, we should correct them in their path that they're capable. There is no end of learning. We never had a teacher like Mr. Kesh. We have received so much. Sometimes I say by myself, Mehran, what do you expect? This is so beautiful, but it has to go into depth. People can understand more. We never had this to share, to learn. I told Klaus, I think last week, I said, or it was Caroline, I don't remember. I remember an anecdote in Belgium. We used to receive students from Israel. All these students are usually forced to go into military training for so many years. When they get time out, they come to events like the Hansefeesten in Ghent for 10 days. And they can earn money by selling t-shirts, silver. But they have to stay with their merchandise because they're just are selling in tents and on tables. So my sister, who made this connection to get them to come and go, she said, you're all invited to the house. At least you can sleep a few nights not on the floor, and you can have a decent meal, and you can take a shower. And somewhere out of nowhere, I could feel the uneasiness coming about religion. And them being military, I turned around, I said, we're not going to have any discussions. I said, I do not judge you. I know you are in certain conditions, you do certain things. I said, but to talk about what religion has to do with army and training and being a soldier as yourself, I said, please, I don't want to go into any of this. I said, because I said, if you respect the 10 commands which are in place by every religion, just those, the 10, which Mr. Kesh said this morning. If you respect and learn every single one, but in the true essence of it, I said, we don't need to discuss anything anymore. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with you being a soldier. Because if you respect then we will have a lot more easy times. Because I asked Jackie 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, I said, Jackie, can you go into more depth about the 10? Because I said, if you connect them with the teachings of Mr. Kesh, people maybe have to find the side path to come back to the main thing of the knowledge, to understand what stealing means and how they steal. Because a lot of people got I'm sorry, we have new visitors coming in. Topoli. He just said hello. He wants his share of saying hello to everybody as they're coming in. He's a good boy. The point is, we as women, I made the request to teach more. I'm not gonna go in totally science, but I'm trying to find a path that we can embrace the science with our emotions, with our being human beings, and create a combination that we can understand in an easier path to make the connections for people which are not so far in science, which say this goes above my head, I don't understand. I want to give you the confidence that, and the comfort that women start understanding what I asked in Dubai, but this was a message to the man. Please invite your women. Please bring them into the teachings. When children are attracted to something like a magnet, let them enjoy, bring them on board, bring them to our teachings and our presentations. Don't be afraid to share openly, because mothers have an instinct of, yes, I can apply this to my child today, or I can show him a different path. It's to make it easier at everybody that is worth. It's you don't understand, or you don't comprehend. It's not, no, it's not there. It's for us women. Men have a certain structure they work in. They're beautiful because they're doing their structures, but they are disconnected with the balance of what we call women. We women to man, we are like a nightmare, but we are not. We worship them, we kiss them, we make sure they're comfortable. The only thing I'm asking, man, you have tasted the knowledge. You're so happy, you're so beautiful, doing and experimenting and bringing so much knowledge back. I've noticed, and Mr. Kesh has noticed as well, a lot of women are coming in tiptoeing, but they're coming in. We are not going to take over anything. We are just on equal basis to share. But maybe we can fill in the gaps by our sense of feeling, knowing it can be done different, or creativity, which men don't have time for it anymore because they're too busy supporting the families. But at least our women, we can do the cooking, we can do the tasting, we can do the mixing, and we can make a great soup, which is a plasma soup of knowledge. And the only thing I'm asking is not taking over teachings, or I want to be part of it. And that's what I wish for the women to be part of it too. Because at the end, by the time we are achieving enough knowledge, if we don't bring our women and children in, then the next generation will miss a huge opportunity. Because we cannot digest everything in one go. We have to start sharing from the base. And I know Mr. Kesh is already busy for 3 years. And I've been observing and I've been learning on my path. But I respond more faster into how do I feel? How can I do this? And when you allow yourself to be involved, you come up with solutions to yourself to support. As I was trying to show with this picture, you are already doing so many things you're not aware of. So women, children, and please husbands, boyfriends, man, boys, bring them in as equal. There is no fight for level or you're higher or you're lower or you know more or you know less. No. As you have heard, and Mr. Kesh has repeated this quite a few times, our house is just one plasma house. It's magravs, ganses, plasma, star formations, knowledge seekers, and everything to do with it. It doesn't stop. We live, we breathe it, and we share it. As we are an example as a couple to share the knowledge and to be there for wherever we can to support, I'm just asking in this short time now and here, try to do the same, bring your partners in. Say, put everything down and come and have a look what I have achieved. Like this gentleman just showed, he can show the direction of the fields with normal water. It doesn't show. With CO2, it shows. Share. And then transfer it, please, to the children. But explain to them why they need to know. And that's one of the paths we're going to have to go to become one. Because when I look in front of me, I didn't do the count yet, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ladies in the house. Before, it was only a few. So my call in Dubai has worked. And there's still men repeating, like in the room, they said, I always remember you saying, women, come in, come on board. Man, bring your women in. Because we're going to have to start planting the seed of knowledge in our children, that we can make work teams. Because Mr. Kesh is not going to slow down. He's going to go faster and faster and faster. And if we can go step by step, maybe for a lot of men, it will make life easier as well, because there's still gaps in the knowledge, because we don't understand everything. But I think if we create the right mixture of plasma in fields and emotions, I think we will achieve a great soup of plasma that will be distributed among mankind. And I had a very, very beautiful feeling yesterday, twice. Because Mr. Kesh always asked, how did you feel after the teaching? And I can pinpoint him exactly how everybody feels, how the sense is from a distance. I said, there was such a good feeling. I said, they were all so happy. I said, or they felt very awkward, you know, they didn't understand fully. Yesterday, twice, when we did the teaching in the medical, I was present next to Mr. Kesh. I saw their struggle. I could feel the struggle of the souls, the doctors, and then the debates with the animals. How are we going to sort this out? I said to Mr. Kesh, for the animals, they don't need to worry anymore because they already have delivered. They already have donated their soul to the work because the first proofs are there. It's there. I said we can ease the vets because it was the veterinarians which were having problems with solving. And then Mr. Kesh came forward and he said at the last, he offered it, and you could feel everybody just went, we don't need to worry anymore. We don't need to worry about the laws and the restrictions. We can let it to go free. Klaus texted to me, he said, I can't move from my seat. I had the same reaction from Sandy yesterday when it was passed into the Universal Council. She says, I stopped with a smile in the Universal Council meeting yesterday. She sent me a text this morning. She says, I haven't stopped smiling. She said, I haven't stopped smiling. This is such a big burden off our shoulders because the intent of every knowledge seeker which came on board to follow these teachings, to receive this knowledge, is to share and to give. Even Mr. Kesh said, my soul is lighter because I could give so much and let go. He was teasing me this morning. I only realized it too late. He said, but what if we only give it to this and to that? And I'm immediately, as usual, I jumped on my horse and I said, Mr. Kesh, you cannot do this. You cannot restrict it. Klaus was feeling not easy either. And then Klaus realized, Mr. Kesh, you're joking, right? He said, of course I'm joking. We gave it for free. Because, thank you, Mr. Kesh, for this big gift to humanity and for all your gifts you have brought. We really appreciate, and it cannot be said enough. We cannot express our love enough. For all your gifts to humanity. And we will carry on loving you. And the more we give you, the more we will receive. And the more mankind will go to a higher level of understanding. Because for sure, I know you're going to help us to get there. And more women are going to come up just to make the soup more tastier with different flavors. And I thank you so much. And I have to thank every single one of you in the background, because I see Stanley, I see Rick, I see Flint. I know Vince is in the background somewhere. And so many other supporting knowledge seekers, which were more or less there from the beginning. I'm sorry if we do not express our gratitude enough, because there is huge amount of work done in the background by so many. My request is for all you listeners to say thank you to all those who are supporting a day and night to make the foundation the way it is and to keep it stable and moving forward. Thank you all for your hard work. I'm going to hand over the microphone back to Mr. Kesh. And then I will sit with the team in the background to see how we can bring more different ways of teaching, but to make sure it reaches as many as possible. Thank you all. Bye, Rick. Thank you.
Caroline.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Vince.
So we are back. If there are any more questions, we can answer, But something which, two things Caroline raised, and it's in so many ways important to see, looking beyond what was said. When she speaks about the mother giving your water to the child, you remember what we talked, that if you want gold, you can have it in the palm of your hand through your intention. This is what the mother carries. In deep space, there are no pharmaceuticals. Is the intention of the emotion. If one understands this, it will change a lot of things for mankind. You don't need a chest drawers of medicine now that you understand the work of the soul. And gradually, those who graduate in the elevation of the soul will understand this. You don't need to kill to eat. You don't need to do anything wrong. And in a time of need, you create what you need. These things will come more and more as we go along. People learn more. And in a way, as I said, we are here to enlighten. We are not here to teach. When you understand your own capabilities, you become the other magnets to the illness of the child. You are stronger, you can take, and you reduce the others. That's all it is you do. You don't give the water to the child. Before you touch the water and put your intentions in it, you have put, because of the line of the birth to the child, you have already taken it. If one day man matures to the point of understanding of measuring, you'll find the mother will carry some of the intentions and the pain to herself. This is how what we call double magnetic field. It's not the water, it's the intention which has brought it. But we have to see what the conditions are and appropriate for it. The other point is, a lot of you say, how come he is giving such advanced technology in cancer away to people and not making money out of it? The thing is, as I always say, this is your deaf to it, and very much deaf. I always say the Keshe Foundation is paying for the research. The research, the funds for it came from selling of the books and equipments and everything else which you have bought. So in fact, you already paid for it. The only people who take it and run away with it are by nature, what I call a thief. They put nothing into the foundation, which is the soul of the humanity, and they want to take and run. So if you think we are giving the cancer in a blueprint, it's because we have paid with our souls. As I said many times, a lot of people know around the foundation. We don't carry hidden bank accounts. What we take when we need. And so when it comes, we put it there and we give it. I'm sure we'll receive more in the coming time, because many parents, many children will hold on to their fathers and the mothers, and many people will hold on to their children, which they are told, you have leukemia, you have a cancer of this and that. Many people will walk away from cancer, as I said, like a headache. We are here to set and change the course of humanity. And many times, Carol and I, we said, the only way the foundation work will be touch the humanity is to the health, when they get touch with their own being. Energy unit was what you call people who came and they stole and they ran. We are not releasing one energy unit, but we're releasing, if those who understand what is to be released on Sunday, on Tuesday next week, and apply it to understand it, you can produce any medicine in the universe. Medicine being a position of comfort to guarantee the survival. The blueprint on Tuesday is the beginning of how man will survive in the depth of the universe. And if you look, just making the ganses, you have already lost, because you never understood the gans of universe is you. We just show you the process how to do it. Those of you who go and take the tablets and make ganses, then you'll understand you haven't learned anything yet. Many teachings I teach about dynamic cores. Don't forget that you are the dynamic core itself. We look forward to see you on Tuesday. We present 2 papers with the permission of scientists in Tokyo. We will show interim report on the 3rd one, which is the animals which are already gone through the process. But come with one thing in your heart when you come. Don't come to learn how to walk away from the cancer. Come with the understanding, blessing the sacrifice of those lives which was done when they gave their lives, when we slaughtered these animals. The 50 mouses which we had to trying to inject cancer into, but they were so resistant that the injections of the cancers by the doctors caused their death. I think before we start Thursday morning, is a tradition of man to keep silent for a minute. Maybe it's time to keep silent for the animals, the souls we sacrifice to save our lives. This is how we pay respect. We go to a football match, and the football player who played for us for a while and he brought us some pleasure, we keep silent for a minute. Maybe we stay silent for a time to respect those souls who gives us the gift of life in this process. Thank you very much. We see you Tuesday morning on the health blueprint or cancer blueprint. Please go to universities, please go to doctors. Since there is a stupid guy who says he's found the solution for the cancer, would you like to come and listen to him? And this way we'll find out we are more stupid because we share it so freely. It's worth a lot. But the beauty of it is, as we've done before, we have broken the shackle of copyrights, patents, and the rest of it. And this is the beauty of it. Keshe Foundation Ghana in the coming weeks will release a huge amount of this material for cancer in Africa. We put a value on it, but we let the people do. Those of you who use it, donate back to the foundation through your soul, that we can receive more to share more. The financial expenses of development will carry on. Somehow the foundation always has come up with a way to meet its demands when it comes to social structure changes, and this is one of them. Today we are in position to be able to change a lot of things, and we are the only organization who gives freely, earns freely, and naturally shares freely in a way that we've been told. I would like to thank again the structure of the leadership in Ghana for supporting the foundation so heavily, and through it will shine. Through it, because of the sincerity of the man who brought the soul of the foundation to Ghana, Benjamin. He brought it with a beautiful soul, and we see the changes. The person or the people who come in to build the station, they are in such a hurry to get there, to start the work. We thank you for your support and for your dedication in supporting what we can do. To those of you who are members of the Universal Council, the Earth Council, and the core team, please stand by till we get the decision from the Ghanaian government. On my return on the meeting with the office of the presidents and the vice presidents, we will get a framework of when they would like to see it come in. And as we said, we have to respect the nation as they are serving humanity better than the Western world has. Thank you very much for today. And hopefully by Tuesday, we have some points that by the following weeks, we get people who will write to the foundation, says, thank you, I don't have a cancer. It was easier than getting rid of a headache. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, and I'll just put up the Keshe Foundation site and remind people that they can, where it could show up on my screen here, oh there we are, that they can click on the donate button on the upper right hand corner of the website, and that'll take you to a page where you can donate either directly to the bank account, or there's some new buttons now for donation amounts of 10, 100, 1,000 euros, and you can click on those and they'll take you to a site at the Keshe Foundation store where you can make a donation that way. And also the Keshe Foundation USA if you want to make a donation through
Rick,
PayPal. Yes,
just to let you know that it opened in a new window, so we're not able to see it.
Oh, okay. Let me reshare there. Okay, that was the store then that button opens up into.
And there's also kfssi.org/donate has similar information on there and a PayPal link.
Okay.
You got to realize, thank you very much, you got to realize we are on the verge of a huge change in another direction. In the next few weeks, hopefully in a short time, after the blueprint, we will release the food program. How to feed yourself through GANs plans or technology, which means you receive all the energy you need and the hunger becomes a point of the past. This will be the biggest achievement once we can do it, because this will change the course, especially in 95% of the nations who can't afford feeding their own people. As I always say, according to universal, or what we call it, United Nations statistic, there are more hungry people, more children go to sleep hungry in the United States than the rest of the world. This is amazing. 15% of the children in the United States go to bed hungry. 4% in Africa. Because in Africa you can go up the tree. In the United States you have to rob a bank or break into a shop to get into a freezer. This is the change. We see it. It's beautiful. I stood many times in Africa and I watch people just go up the tree, pick a banana. You don't need to rob. You take a coconut. Many times I stand and watch. It's a pleasure. The people don't touch because they know they're reaching understanding of the whole process. There is no, what we see, the limitation of change. I think with the whole process of the Keshe Foundation will come to light when the powers will start shortening or the food shortage comes in one way or another. And then people think, oh, I can get GANs. The GANs food systems, the dynamics will become part of the cornerstone of work of the Keshe Foundation in the coming time. Thank you very much. See you on Tuesday morning. And please, when you come, make sure you bring a scientist from the pharmaceutical with you. Have you ever seen an organization to do this? Bring the enemies that they become friends, because then they know they lost everything. It's better for them to understand it than us telling them, and they come to it, they have to fight it. And it works. I tell you it works because I've seen it. When I worked with Olivier, good friend of ours, Keshe Foundation, one of the best friends of Keshe Foundation from the beginning, maybe the only one. When we walked into Strasbourg Space University, two of us, we went to see, there was a big conference of NASA, Lockheed Martin and Boeing to do with the space, the program. There was a conference, a couple of hundred people. We informed them that we are going. They already knew as part of our work. And Olivier and I, they stopped the conference because the head of conference was from the Boeing and he wanted to be in this meeting. We sat with a few of them together and they wanted to understand the explanation of the new technology. And I never did such a simple thing to them. I just showed them a magnet in my hand and I showed them the magnet. I said, look, does it need fuel? I just position it where I want, I absorb. The top man, he said, Mr. Keshe, in a simple way, you have changed the whole history of the space technology. We don't need fuel to burn. It was very simple, but we saw very rapidly in the coming time, we don't see any more American shuttles. They stopped the whole shuttle rocket business because they realized. Now one of the most experienced, what we call astronauts in the American NASA program is a man from South America. And he says to me, I have no clue, but I'm heading the plasma technology of the NASA into space. Because they realized the game has changed into plasma technology. That's why you suddenly saw the cartel, the end of the shuttle business. A simple demonstration, a simple understanding of the man of power of what the game changes. In the past couple of days, I put a hand out to NASA again for collaboration. This sits in the corridor power in Washington if we start a collaboration, which I don't think they'll refuse it, because it's a lot of unemployment. A lot of proportion guys can't be unemployed, 7,000 of them. They have to protect the job. But as we said, we always tell what we do. I've asked the American government for the opening of the Keshe Foundation collaboration with NASA. And as you know, we have good friends inside. And I'm doing again the same thing. Knowledge in exchange for collaboration and peace. And it works all the time. So if we succeed with NASA, I know these guys who are behind calling NASA, he's a crook, he's this, don't do that. But you have to understand people who make the NASA. The NASA is already watching them, because we know what they're doing in the background. It is our job to share the knowledge freely, and in sharing it, we share a lot, because we bring more people to share with us than we have more that we can share. On Tuesday, we share the knowledge, and I promise you one thing, we will touch the soul of the man. After Tuesday, the Keshe Foundation will become a worldwide name, and we bring a lot of people in. Because if you were in Rome and you saw the pictures which Dr. Rodriguez shared, there is no doubt the technology works. And I think that's touching. When I showed it to some of the influential people very recently, to them watching a woman with that cancer and nothing there with surviving of the life, it changed their mind. Very powerful man. And he understood. I said to him, you see this is not for you to make you wealthy. You're wealthy enough. Take it to the government, and we want to collaborate that the whole nation benefits by it. You become as rich as you are. And the next day he canceled our meeting. He said, I'm going to the government. Come back. Because it has to be done by them. People understand this. You got to share. Call all the pharmaceuticals, as many as you can, all the doctors, as many as you can, to come to the Tuesday meeting. It does not mean we're going to be successful in everything, but it means we have to learn where we are not successful to cover it. But from the data we have, and I've received many texts from Tokyo since this program, that they say, we are proud to go. Doesn't matter if our lives are in danger. We are ready to share. And you will understand some of them have already sacrificed a lot. Their position, their jobs in university has been compromised, but the government is standing by to see what's the next step. If you're a Japanese listener, we have huge support in Japan. Go back to your government, the way we did the demonstration in Fukushima, and he brought TEPCO in for collaboration, and tell them millions of people who are getting cancer because of Fukushima, now the technology is on the table. And it's down the road. It literally sits in Tokyo University. This is mainly done in Japan because Japan is one of the real countries which needs. The amount of cancer is so huge that the government has no hold of. After 5 or 6 years, now the cancers have matured. The death rate from Fukushima is increasing. The government burden will run on behind anything that can solve the problem. But one of the main things with this is, if this thing works with a human being, why don't we flood the oceans with it? With all the cancers we caused in animals and the oceans. That's one of the biggest problems. We go and spray different chemicals to overcome an oil spill on the oceans to protect the beaches. I think the time has come that we have to do the same with GANs. We are discussing it at the highest level with some organizations, because if we can, once you see it, once people understand it, can spray this, we see strange animals in different part of the world in the oceans coming up because of Fukushima, because of the cancer they have. So we solved the problem. It doesn't cost much to save the life of a man or a fish or whatever. This is what the change is. We are talking in a coming time. One of the reasons I'm in a hurry to release the cancer is because I know the developments in the background which will affect totally the world economy. You will understand. We started with the cancer. We test the man with the Maghreb system and we saw the greed of the man. Those who made and saved never come and talk. Those who could not understand to rob, they all shouted. This time, they steal from their souls. We teach, we release the cancer, and with it, we run different projects behind it. And the other one is the feeding. When we sort out the food and the health, more or less, 60% of the world economy will collapse. You will see. I know where we are going. And as I said, bring all the people you think are opposition, pharmaceuticals, right everywhere on the Facebooks, on the internet, YouTubes. A crazy guy is releasing free the knowledge of cancer. And we show the data. And will it be stupid for them not to copy it? Because the world economy is very simple. If everybody is making it, we'll do some of it. And the beauty of it is, the data is so solid, done by one of the most reputable scientists in the world. He signed document himself, he's so proud. He said, Tokyo University sacked me from it, doesn't matter. You've done the job. The reality doesn't hide. As I said many times, we changed the course on Tuesday because this time we touched the soul of the man and his physicality together. Less than €1, what I call €1 cancer return. If you understand it, if you follow the process the way we do, we advise you to leave it to the pharmaceuticals to sell it to you at €2 a piece. You don't need to pay 15,000. But from what we see, 20 tablets is more than enough. We've seen the reversal with literally 3 feeds, not more. And the calculation by the scientists, formulologists, they tell us 0.8 milligram is enough for 100 kilo body. Total cost of, let's say, 10 dose, maybe, I don't know, 5 cents, 10 cents. We have supply for 120,000 in our reserves in Tokyo. And that will go only to the Japanese community because it's made by Japan for them, for their society. Then we'll see where we go. But please, write it everywhere. I don't mind to be made a fool of where I know I serve what I'm going to serve. So use me as a fool. Say the idiot says he can do the cancer for €1. I'll be that idiot, but I know what is the next step. Thank you very much for today. We'll see you on Tuesday at 9 o'clock Central European Time.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Kesh. Thank you very much.
Benjamin, you came too late. He says greeting to all. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll look forward to Tuesday. Okay, that'll be the end of the 167th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for April 13th, 2017. And as always, thank you everybody for attending. And we'll stop the live stream now.